Hi there, I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're looking into a new plugin from Arturia. It's called Efx Refract. Refract will create multiple instances of a sound. So a little bit like a Unison type of plugin where you have up to 8 different voices of the original sound that comes in. So you get 8 copies of it in stereo. And then you can apply effect to that. So it can create lush choruses if you want, then goes into an effect, another effect processor. And the combination of the two, plus with LFO, creates a lot of interesting movement in it. It can be really weird or it can be very melodic, depending on what you want to do with it. Let's just dive in. You'll see, you'll hear, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So if I play this sound here. Okay, so I've got a refraction, but only one voice. If I bring more voices, and if you bring down the refraction, so a bit like detuning all of these multiple copies of it. You hear that? Okay. You say I just want to have 3 of them. There's a 3, so it can kind of a chorus if you want at that point. Then the second part, the bypass here, you can just go in and you have a list of effects. So the band pass, get a cutoff point. Of course, if you just listen to that sound entirely wet, so just the result. Okay, with the resonance. So the cutoff has a real cool sound to it. If you want to move this with modulation, you have an LFO here. You have the wave here of the shape of the LFO you want to choose. Is it synced? And how much of it is being sent to the cutoff point? Let's say we want it to be slower. You can do the same thing with the refraction. And the other thing that is pretty cool is that you can, before going into all the effects, you can decide if you're cutting stuff. Let's say I'm going to cut everything that is lower. So this effect is only for the high end. So if I go back to my dry wet mix, my main sound is not affected. And only mid and high are going through the effect, but the bass is not affected. So the bass is still in the middle. Kind of these things are really nice to have, these controls here. Next one is the comp filtering. If you go here, you hear that sound. The comp filtering can be really cool. And if you bring the resonance up, I'm just going to go through all of them, and then I'll give you demos of what to do with them. So we get the comp filtering, you have the bit crusher, understand downsample and bit depth. Okay, you have distortion. Now be careful with the volume. This really can jump the volume, bring it really loud. You get the different type of distortion here. All the stuff that if you know Arturia's plugin, you're not surprised to see that here. Harmonizer is how much you want to spray the harmonizer. So it adds shimmers if you go too far. And then you have here, you want, I don't know, minor 7. It can be really interesting to have this. I'm going to stop this, and I like this on drums. No effect. Straight drum. So I made a 4-bar hi-hat white for robots. It means that you've got a sync track here. The LFO is on 4 bars, and that this moves. You see, this is moving here. Comes from a white sound, gets tighter, and it's timed on rhythm. That's what's a cool part of it. And now this is half and half, and it's actually cutting all the lows, so it only keeps it for the high frequencies. And again, just for the drum, just for the kick. I cut the high frequencies, so I just get the drum, and very tight, so not because we want that to be middle, but the drive is changing with the LFO, and it's on a 4/4 beat also. Let's try another one. So distortion, but for mid and eyes, and it changes. I chose the 4 bars so that you can hear the movement. Okay, another one. So these are just other like. Wait, I'm gonna try this, but instead I'm gonna change that to harmonizer. That's a cool one. Okay. So how do I do that? So what you have here, you have a switch of the LFO going from 2, it's a square LFO, down, up, and it's in sync with a 2-bar. This actually changes the cutoff point here, and I try to figure out a note so that it resonates the kick drum, but the resonance becomes a note. So you have like something playing now. Of course, I would have to tune that so it goes with the rest of the song, but it's just so fun to get this. If I get rid of the drum entirely, then I almost have a bass playing. So that's a cool one. And next one I want to try, I also have another variant of this one. Now, so this is only affecting the high end, so I'm cutting the low frequencies. So this is mushing up or destroying the high end, the top frequencies, a lot of bit depth and a little bit of movement in the down sample, and I still hear the original sound, and that's the wet, because the wider fuzzy high end. That's it. Bass, I think I have one here. Yeah, that's the one. The bass, if you go get something for distortion, it's always really cool. I'll try this. Just the high-end sizzling. Because now it's affecting just the high end, but if you bring it up. phaser. That's what Efx Refract is a refraction of a single sound into up to 8 different stereo sound. It goes wider and out of tune, if you want, like a chorus in a way. And then you go through it, an effect, a multi-effect after that. So it's good for many different type of sounds. Of course, it can be wacky and bizarre and weird, and it can be smoother and nice. And I imagine this really interesting if I then send it to a reverb. For some of the sound, it's just going to become a very wide, moving pad type of sound, and it gives life to these sounds. So when you get into playing with it, filtering the drum is an instant go-to for me, because you can create notes or sounding like a bass note from just the drum playing. So it's really interesting in my taste. That's it. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.